Hello everyone and welcome to another Carte deck talk. This is Desron and today I'm here with Eliador talking about the Forest of Survival deck. Hello, how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm fine.
Glad to hear that. So what exactly is a Forest of Survival deck? How does it work?
The Forest of Survival deck is, in my opinion, a combo deck. You can toss around with different pieces of cards and your graveyard to set up interesting combos that are kind of unexpected for your opponent to deal with.
I see. So what are the key cards of the Forest of Survival deck rather than the
The most
aforementioned
important
Forest of
piece
Survival?
is, of course, the Force of Survival, who basically is a great tool to cycle tokens you create, to cycle low creatures into higher creatures, and to cycle into your win conditions. The most interesting card that works pretty well with Forest of Survival is Timely Reinforcements. This trap is rather underplayed. It is you can set it down early and create for 2 mana a Catwoman into your defense zone. And the important part of this Catwoman is that she is level 3. And that is the perfect setup for your Forest of Survival to cycle it into your other key cards, your win conditions.
I see. So basically you set up 3 drops that you sacrifice at the end of your opponent's turn to get out a 4-drop. Which 4 drops do you usually use?
At the moment, I'm using Warrior of Magnolia and Ivory Angel. Ivory Angel is at the end of turn of my opponent just brutal to get into play because it's a 6/1 honor creature that can attack with haste, and Warrior of Magnolia is like another combo piece because it's when it's attacking it creates a prosperity effect for free.
Warrior of Magnolia. And you get to bypass the drawback of destroying the 1 card in your mana zone, since you're casting him from your graveyard basically.
Yeah. You can also use this drawback in this kind of deck to negate it. Like you're setting your Ivory Angel off your hand into the mana zone and play a Warrior Magnolia in attack zone, and the Ivory Angel of your graveyard will switch to your graveyard where you want to have it.
That makes sense. That's an interesting way to set things up, definitely. So, do you only go for 4 drops, or do you play some 2 and 3 drops that you plan to Force of Survival into?
The most important other key card in this deck is, in my opinion, to hold back aggro and different other decks. Where it is Fog Elemental, and that is the creature you can get out of Force of Survival also from tokens you generate, like from Gemstone of Hope and Garden of Little Fruit Forest.
Yeah. So he seems like a really strong early play, and late game he can just move creatures into the defense zone to buy you a lot of time.
My deck is set around this theme to switch creatures from his attack zone to defense zone. I use different stuff for that as 3 drops, the Plain Lions as 2 drops, the Nagas and Fog Elementals. Just a quick remark to my favorite card of this deck, the Naga. It utilizes on the one hand the Shift ability, and on the other hand, if I set it down, I can cycle a card. And in this kind of deck, you want to cycle your cards pretty quickly to get to your combo pieces like Forest of Survival, Ivory Angel in your graveyard, and different other stuff.
Yeah, when you want some cards in your graveyards and some cards in your hand, cycling is a very good way to get there. And I'm guessing Naga makes an excellent target to use Force of Survival on, especially if she doesn't have Shifter.
Yeah.
So
I can get back something like Plain Lion or Garden of Little Fruit Forest that I already used got enough little fruit force. If I set it into creature zone, it also generates a token that I can use for the Forest of Survival.
Yeah. But if you get the Gardener back, then you don't get the token.
Yeah, of course. But I get a level 3 creature back that can cycle again to another level 4 creature if I have multiple forests out.
That makes sense. So for the Force of Survival deck, do you use the Naga Aid?
The most important part about Force of Survival deck is that it's pretty cheap in mana costs. It's almost stop at level 4 and only plays some 5-drops like Violent Earthquake to get rid of Pexy level 5 creatures your opponent play.
Yeah.
Because level 5 creatures are the main focus of most decks.
Yep. Naga Aid is the 3-drop that
that one.
that when you put it into play gives 1 AP, 1 SP to your hero. It seems like a very good card to play out because it gives you a bonus when it comes in and then you upgrade it into one of your actual 4-drops.
Actually, over this card I would rather play Wolf Riders, because if I'm playing against Mercy or something similar, this creature is just a free one with Hero Ward and also destroy the Mercy. And it's just be way better than this 1 AP and SP for your hero, which you can't utilize because you shift their attackers to defense and cloud their defense.
Okay, so you use Wolf Riders as your Force of Survival combo / Mercy counter in the green deck. That's definitely an interesting choice. You also said you use Violent Earthquake.
Yeah. They're running so many 5-drops around that you need to get rid of some at least at some point of the game.
And if you don't play any 5-drops yourself, it's pretty easy to set up at least a 2-for-1. It? Do you run the Earthquake? Or does it hit many?
I used to run 2 of them. Now I'm just run 1 of them because the most level 4 creatures don't annoy my deck. The most intriguing parts are something like Summon Evil decks and some Zaike decks. And Violent Earthquake are pretty impressive against these decks. That's why I'm running now 3 of Violent Earthquakes.
Okay. That makes sense. I guess destroying your own 4-drops doesn't matter too much when you're gonna get them back next turn anyways. But it's still...
most of the time I don't have any 4-drops on my board because I'm cycling them out of 3-drops at the end of the opponent's turn.
Yeah, and then they kill them on your turn.
Yeah.
Especially if it's Ivory Angel.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So, you said you run the... what do you call them? For the Mercy Hate, the 3-1 Hero Ward.
Wolf Riders.
Wolf Riders. Do you run the red shards as well?
Yes, I'm running 4 of them at the moment. Because not only Mercy, also other weapons with level 3 or less get suppressed by them. I really like that mechanic.
Yeah.
But with the new 3.1 set, will maybe substitute 1 or 2 of them with the new green shard. It has Burial, and this mechanic really should work pretty good with my deck.
Yeah.
Burial is a really interesting mechanic to get another creatures you want to cycle into your graveyard.
Yeah. Well, you could use this instead of your basic shards because it still draws you a card. So it's not like there is any drawback to it.
But also, the meta is shifting towards running less Mercy, so I think it's pretty...
Thank God. I think a lot of people are going to be very happy to hear that.
I'm seeing way more Summon Evil decks. I'm seeing way more Arcane decks. I see way more Sarian decks than the weeks before. Because there are so many Mercy Hate running around that it basically is unplayable at some point without counter removal. like Magic is Absorb or Repair.
Yeah, I've noticed that Mercy decks are starting to have to run Repair just to get around all the hate, which makes me sad because I'm relying on the black gemstones to slow them down a bit, and Repair just completely destroys that.
Now I want to come to my other two main key cards in this
Okay.
deck, and these are Suppression of Obelisk and Prosperity. Prosperity, sorry about that.
So,
This is a 2-card combo that can upgrade my free 6/1 Ivory Angel pretty into a 18 damage hitter that is unblockable. Just cast Suppression of Obelisks and Prosperity after attacking him. This is just brutal for most opponents.
oh, so that's basically, so for 6 mana, if you silence your turn with the angel in play, you're just gonna win.
Yeah. And that's why this deck can be pretty fast and impressive win on turn 40 or even 12 if you play well. If you set the trap in the first turn after you set the shard, and set the trap in the second turn after you set the shard in the first turn, and then go on with shard Forest of Survival, and having a decent hand, you just need to ramp up to 5 mana, and then activate the trap, have a discarded Ivory Angel activate the Forest, and then you have the 6/1 at the end of their turn. And then you go into Suppression of Obelisk and Prosperity, and they are just dead.
Yep. Also, Warrior of Magnolia, you can use him as a backup Prosperity on the Angel, or you can use Prosperity on the Warrior of Magnolia to attack with a bunch of guys a bunch of times. But
the Warrior of Magnolia just works on the first attack, if I remember correctly. Yeah, whenever this creature attacks for the first time, so a creature.
Well, there goes my addition to the deck. I should probably read the cards more carefully. Yeah, so...
Sorry to switch around the cards so often.
Oh no, that's fine. Okay, so... Yes, it doesn't work too well, but... can you activate your own Warrior of Magnolia when you attack with him for the first time? Or do you have
another creature you have to activate? If you have 2 of them, you can basically attack with the first one, activate another creature, attack with the second one to reactivate the first one.
Yeah, because in the English wording it's not very clear. It says activate target creature, doesn't say there has to be another creature. So that's something.
Except this creature. There's another part of the sentence that you missed.
Their wording is really difficult on this guy for some reason. Activate target creature ally controls except... Okay. Because they could have said activate another target creature. That's how I'm used to that's the spot where I checked and it didn't say that. So that threw me off. Okay. So how risky is it running the Suppression of Obelisk on an Ivory Angel, because there are some instant speed removal spells running around the game. There are not many, but there are a few.
The most counters to this deck, as said, is burst damage, item removal, and hero abilities. Burst damage is the most problematic one because it's unexpected. You have to play around it, recycle your level 3 again and again until they run out of burst damage.
Yeah.
Same with hero abilities. You have to bait the hero abilities to be used, like Cecilia or Tatiana or Saturus. There are different heroes that can easily counter this strategy, but they are not so often played that this deck is not unplayable.
Okay.
And mostly be used for other things because they don't expect the Ivory Angel.
Yep. Well, I play Agres, or no, not Belial, that's the one.
Mhm.
And no, not Belial. Wow, I'm sorry. I'm off my game today. Okay. So I'm gonna go find out what hero I play. Sarutas, that's the name.
The OP hero of Black.
Well, I only have him at level 0. So he is not OP in my deck. Because before that he didn't used to do what he does now. But yeah, he has the 2-mana destroy a target creature with 1 HP.
Yeah.
But I guess you're right, I don't see him played by too many players. I mean, I play him to help deal with Mercy for his second skill.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of the unique touches or cards that you play in your deck that you don't see other Force of Survival decks play?
Mostly the Naga, because it's really underestimated. I used to play also Sudden Change of Seasons that I'm not seen around. And
It seems like it's tailor-made for this deck. You discard
Yeah.
one card and you draw 2 cards. But I'm guessing the 3 mana is a bit too much.
the Naga is just better because if it's a creature that only cycles for 1, but most of the time it's enough to find another combo piece that you need, or to cycle a useless card to get another.
Yeah. I'm guessing it's like draw 2 cards, except the second card you put it into play as a
Yeah.
1/2 rather than drawing it. And for 1 mana less. So that makes sense. So let's
Yeah.
talk about the matchups a bit.
Okay.
How is your Mercy matchup? Let's start there because that's what everyone wants to know.
My Mercy matchup is pretty decent because no matter how lives they gain, if I can force them to use their Mercy defensively, I can just run my Wolf Riders to remove the Mercy, and then combo out at the next end step of him to get my Ivory Angel into play, and this 6/1 is just a force on himself to get rid of my opponent.
Mercy is not very good at killing Ivory Angels. I've noticed. That's something players tend to do. And White doesn't really play a lot of removal. I mean, they can blow up Judgment at once, maybe twice, but after that they really have 0 answers at instance. They have
And
0
Blow
answers at
Judgment is
instant
not-
speed.
Yeah, the Blow of Judgment is not even an instant.
Yeah, but
And
I
the
mean like
only good counter I've seen with a Mercy deck is to leave 1 Mercy up for defense to get the 1 HP in defense.
yeah.
But they take 6 damage, and I recurse the Ivory Angel out of my graveyard and do it again.
Yep.
And again.
Yeah. What I meant is Blow of Judgment can let them kill it if you weren't able to summon it at the end of the turn, but it's still not. Basically, I guess they should always have creatures in attack zone to kill off your angel anyway, so.
Yeah. In the most Zaiki decks I've encountered play pretty defensively, and every creature that is in attack zone can be switched around with Shifter. You even give me a new idea in the morning with Ecliders, the 1 mana green spell that give a creature Shifter and draws a card. That's pretty perfect for this deck to get rid of more attackers and draw an extra card. For free, basically.
Yeah, this is such a difficult card to pronounce. I'm not even sure anyone says it right. Okay, so how about the other matchup? What's your best matchup?
The best matchup is mostly interesting against Japanese and Korean decks because they have so little instant removal that they are just forced to play aggressively, and my creature can switch them around, and then the Ivory hit for the win. It's like I've beaten Summon Evil decks, I've beaten different Archon archetypes. I've beaten most of the Mercy matchups without godlike draw.
Yeah. So against Summon Evil, I'm guessing, since they only play a few creatures, you can basically push the few creatures that they play into defense and then just kill them with the angels.
Or just use my Violent Earthquake on their level 5 arsenal, because Summon Evil decks just tend to run 5 drops, 5 drops, 5 drops, 5 drops, and nothing else.
Well, some 4 drops, but yeah, mostly just 5 drops. And yeah, Violent Earthquake could be a problem for them, definitely. So, how about the aggro decks, like a Spy Rush? Can you outrace them, or can you just stall them?
I have had also aggro matchups with other Syrian decks, the Elf Rush deck, and they had like 9 creatures into attack zone and 3 creatures in defense zone, and I have nothing on board other than my Forest of Survival and my Kitty Trap. And I'm just activated at their last attacker, and then cycled the Kitty Cat into the Angel, and they just died with the combo of
18 damage. Yeah. That's a very powerful thing to do.
Suppression of Obelisk.
Yeah. Being able to swing for 18 damage out of nowhere for 6 mana.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you too.
There?
How often do you use Suppression of Obelisk on other creatures?
Suppression of Obelisk can also be a killer on a 0-1 token. I won around 12 or 15 games with 0-1 token into play, playing Suppression of Obelisk onto it after I tapped all their defenders with my other creatures and then run through with this little token and prosperity it afterwards for another run of damage.
That makes sense. Also, it can act as a removal spell, since your 0-1 tokens didn't cost you anything, basically. So, how about the Ghost matchup? Is your deck faster than them?
Most of the time, I would say yes. If they not lay down an early Succubus of Frostswamp in their turn 3, the force of the deck should be easy to have. Should be able to easily handle ghost decks. Most ghost decks I've encountered never set a foot into the door of winning, no matter if I played Saike or Serion.
Okay. So, you seem to have a good aggro matchup. How about your control matchups? How do you fare against the Arcane control decks that are becoming more and more popular these days?
The most Arcane matchups tend to run less instant removal because they have Flame Blast, Meteor Shower, Dual Cast, Firebolt, and so on. And that's their greatest weakness. I've only see few decks running around with Adventure of Little Witch and Conflict of Mia. Conflict of Mia. These are 2 key cards to counter this strategy next to item removal. It might be quite obvious that every hardcore item removal is a really good counter to this deck. Might it be other Wolf Riders that I've seen from Japanese players? Might it be the white spells from Arcane decks? Or might it be the black shards decked multiple turns?
Yeah. So how is the deck functioning when you don't have your Force of Survival? Can you still win a game reasonably, or?
If I don't draw in the first 20 turns into my Force of Survival, I have so much stalling, and I can put the Ivory Angel also into attack and threaten them. They have to kill it off at 6-1. They can't live. I thought also about running another win condition with Stampede, but most of the time it didn't work out and was an empty card in my hand. So I switched to more defensively build and use these shifter creatures to stall out the game
Long
until
enough.
I get my combo piece together.
I see.
That's why I'm also running this hero of Deia Panici, which has quite a utility in this deck. On the one hand, you can send off a really hard attacker to defense with her first ability.
Which
And,
level do you use?
I'm only using level 4 because level 5 would weaken them in my deck.
No.
Weaken her in my deck.
Yep. That's what I was asking about. So level 4, and you can move a level 6 creature to defense. Or you can even shift all your guys around to get more blockers from the tokens that you make in attack zone.
The tokens are immovable. Don't forget that.
Well, no, not those tokens, but do you
The
play
1/1 tokens.
any tokens any cards that make the 1/1 tokens?
The
Like the
trap.
cats, and
Yeah,
I'm not
the
sure.
cat trap. Only the cat trap.
Only the cat trap. Okay, so it's not as relevant to your deck. But
Sometimes if I can stall enough to switch everything from them into the defense zone, while I'm safe on the defense zone, and can use this ability to switch my wall force into attack zone and go for lethal.
that makes sense too. So all 3 of her abilities are actually useful in the deck, because paying 3 mana to discard 2 cards and draw 2 cards, it's
another
like
cycle that
a
you
sudden
can
change of
use.
seasons that doesn't require you to have a specific card in your hand. Okay. So we cover...
Also, you can combo with this third ability at end of turn without an ivory in your graveyard. You have 7 mana open. Use the kitty trap for the level 3 creature. Use the forest, and in response, use the hero ability to discard the ivory angel.
Yep, and set it up like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about most of the popular decks. I guess the only one we didn't mention is the black control deck.
And the red weapon deck.
And the red weapon combo deck, yeah, that way. But I think the red weapon combo deck is slightly slower than yours.
Yeah.
At least that's how it seems.
The red weapon deck is also forced to play good defense creatures like the Chimera Giant, and it requires a lot of time to set up. And in this time, I dig for combo pieces, Bluntseer Salt. And if I have my combo pieces, they already used some HP in off-color cards. So I just can kill them at an instant.
Yep. That makes sense. How about the black control matchup? Because they're one of the few colors who have cheap ways to deal with Ivory Angel at instant speed with their heroes. I mean, you have the what they call her, the one that deals -1/-1 to a creature.
They have the new trap also, which is quite impressive with the -1 HP.
Yeah. They have Chelsea. They have
Chelsea. They have so many
Sarutas.
utility. Yeah.
They also have, I guess, Belial, his 7 mana skill. He can use that.
Yeah.
It seems to be very good against green.
Also, Cyrus' new ability on level 5 counters this deck quite well with destroy everything beneath level 6 with 1 HP.
But the problem with that is you're leaving 7 mana up to do it. So and the opponent can just do it again next turn.
Yeah.
While the 2 mana you can actually do other stuff and apply pressure while you're stopping your opponent from comboing off. So it's an interesting choice. Also, Conflict of Violet. I don't know how many other decks play it, but I run it as a one-off, and I've never been sad to draw it.
Let me check that card. Ah, that one. Yeah, the black control matchup is the most hard one for me. I have to set up the combo multiple times and be very carefully with my suppression of obelisks to draw their resources out until they are out of options. I would say it's the most weak matchup for this deck. Each deck has its weaknesses.
Yeah. And this is one of them. I'm guessing Bloody Moon just beats your deck if they manage to flip it, since that just basically means Ivory Angel never gets to attack, ever.
If the player is smart enough to leave the mana open, and most people tend to blow down their mana and not keep instants up if I have an empty board and just a trap lying. I think this will shift in time
once people figure out how to play around your deck. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So, one last question. Would you recommend this deck to others?
This deck is really fun to play. It has a lot of utility, a lot of surprise factor. The problematic part might be that it's running a lot of rares. It's running Forest of Survival, Ivory Angel, which is quite hard to get. Warrior of Magnolia, Violent Earthquake, also something I've forgotten.
Suppression of Obelisk, I believe, is rare.
It's just an uncommon, and if you don't have that, you can also run Battle Training, which is cheaper and just give 1 HP less. I'm just running Suppression of Obelisk because this free 8p let me combo with Prosperity so good.
Yeah, 18 is so much more than... Well, there is the new red 1 mana card that pumps it based on how many of those you have in your graveyard. What is it called? I forgot. From the new set. Let me see. It's called Echo of the Fury, and increase AP of target aspire creature you control by 1, then increase AP of that creature by X, where X is equal to the number of cards. Echo of the Fury is basically in your graveyard, and you can use it early as a removal spell for your tokens, and then late game.
The problem is a target aspire creature.
Oh. I should really read cards more carefully.
No problem. Battle Trading is the only other option, but you need more of them to get to the point of AP you want.
Yeah, but also now that everyone's leveling up their heroes, 18 might not be as important as it used to be. I don't know how it is from your experience.
The point is that the most starting HP a hero can have is 21. And if they are running 3 off-color cards in the turns while I'm setting off the combo, it's just enough. And if I stall the game to where the point I have 9 mana open, I can just use 2 of Suppression of Obelisk and 1 Prosperity for the swapping damage of 24.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, thank you very much for your time. It was a very interesting deck talk. And I'll see everyone next time.